Shares of medical imaging and camera maker Olympus jumped 22% today, as it looks like the company will avoid being delisted on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Well, the company is now suing 19 of its own former and current executives in the wake of an accounting scandal that hid losses of at least $1 billion US, where CEO Michael Woodford has given Bloomberg several exclusive interviews since he was fired by the company back in October for questioning the transactions that are now under investigation. He is joining us from London. And Michael, it is good to see you once again in the new year. When we last spoke back in December, you were embarking really on what I think would have become a proxy fight, but you were really looking to replace the entire board of Olympus. Why don't you get us up to date on where you stand at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I withdrew from the proxy fight. Not that I didn't think we could win it, because the indications were that we would. But I would have gone back to Japan to run a highly indebted, traumatized corporation where the Japanese institutional stockholders had not spoken one word of criticism against the remaining directors, including Sumitomo Mitsui, the largest lender to Olympus, the largest creditor, and the syndicating bank. And I just felt that was incredibly unhealthy to try to run a company when there was hostility and no desire to have me back. No doubt because I would have been questioning and probing, and that type of mindset I don't think is welcomed and wanted by them.
Michael, you are still suing the company, correct?
That's right. I only decided to go ahead with that once I decided to stand down, because I wouldn't have sued the company if I was president. That would have been a conflict of interest and an impossible situation. And it hasn't been about the money. I would have gone back and just resumed on the same package I left on. But in deciding to leave, I now want the company to be held accountable for what it did against me. And the rewards could be significant, and I would donate a large part of that to charitable causes. So it's not about the money as such, it's about the principles, and always has been.
And Michael, it seems that, holidays are always a good time to really reflect, certainly on the past year and the year to come, and you've had quite a bit to reflect on. But I was very touched by the statement you released on January 5th, and as I read through it, it was really the first time, I think, that you've talked more broadly about the implications for the rest of Japanese companies and what this means that they've sort of accepted. I mean, at least up until this point, it seems as if the corporate infrastructure in Japan has sort of accepted what's happened at Olympus. I was hoping you could talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, in Japan, the cross-shareholding, basically the unwritten rules are you don't sell and you don't criticize. And considering the stock price was down 80% at one point, and there was admission to a $1.5 billion fraud, in contrast to Southeastern and Harris Associates, two major shareholders in Olympus in the US, who were very explicit, saying once the independent panel Olympus itself had appointed, chaired by a Supreme Court Judge Kainaka, had said that the company management was rotten to the core, that apart from the central figures, all the board members were yes men and tainted and should go. The American shareholders, European and others, were very explicit that all the directors should leave at the most opportune and earliest moment. But the Japanese stockholders, institutional stockholders, said absolutely nothing. And because of that, the existing directors have remained. When the first independent panel came out and said those very explicit and very direct things, Olympus didn't like it, or Olympus's management didn't like it, so they launched another independent panel, so-called independent, which reported today, and that's where you see this bizarre situation where you have the president, Takayama, staying in office. It's like dead men walking, running the company, although the company is suing themselves, 6 directors, which will leave 3 executive directors, but those very same 3 received all 6 letters pointing out this incredibly obvious wrongdoing, yet they are now going to go forward, and the manipulation and the insult to common intelligence continues, with those 3 now going forward as the chosen members to continue this this saga. And they shouldn't remain. They should go. All the directors should go, and Olympus could have a fresh start, and that's what it needs.
Well, Michael, we have to leave it there, but certainly it seems as if you've been able to close a chapter, at least on Olympus, in your life. And I'm happy to hear that and do look forward to updates. And clearly, for Olympus, though, much more to come going forward. Great to see you, Michael. Michael Woodford, former...
And you too, Lisa.
Thank you. Former Olympus CEO coming to us live from London.